Sorry to walk under.
You hear that, folks?
How you doing?
Good morning.
Welcome
Waves and Wheels.
with Dennis and Paul.
Looking back with Dennis and Paul.
I'm Paul.
I'm Dennis.
And that music was Tim Rudy.
That's going to be our next podcast, episode 12, I believe, coming out next Wednesday, 18th.
Yes,
Will be March 18th,
March 18th.
1995.
Tim's a friend of ours. We play golf with him. He plays guitar.
I met him in the apartment industry. He was, we worked together for quite a while. Sorry, I'm messing up my subscribe sign. Yeah, we have an interview with Tim. It's coming up. That's a sample of his music. But I wanted to mention that I said something about Reno Avalera in the last video on the intro that he had passed away, and I guess that was erroneous information. Thank goodness he hasn't passed away, and hallelujah, that's nice. So
Yeah.
we're going to retract that statement.
I also posted on Instagram and Facebook on our accounts that he had passed. We love Reno. He's been with us forever. He was an inspiration to both of us.
Yep.
And we're thankful that he's still with us.
Even though he is in jail. Sorry.
We can't say
It's
that.
public. I read it online. Sorry. So let's have a little more music.
Tim used to play with Dick Dale and the Deltones,
Yeah,
along with his own music.
Yeah, that's our relation to Tim as far as surfing goes. He played in a surf band, and this is the music. So get an earful, get an eyeful on Wednesday, and we will.
Subscribe.
We'll be done. Subscribe.
These are our hats, by the
On
way.
your merch, yeah.
And yeah, this has been kind of weird, but thank you for tuning in.
Video 12.
Bye.
Later. It's different. Welcome everybody. This is Dennis and Paul with Waves and Wheels.
How you
Looking
doing,
back with
everybody?
Dennis and Paul, and today we have a very special guest with us. Mr. Rock and Roll himself is the master of the Stratocaster, one of the masters of Stratocaster, who also played with Dick Dale and the Deltones.
Among many others.
And that's the reason we have him here. I know we're surf oriented. Dick Dale is surf music, and Tim played with them years ago.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to start off with some questioning, but I wanted to just say that I met Tim through the apartment industry. We worked together, and I worked with him and his brother. His brother was the drummer for Dick Dale and the Deltones, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, my brother was a drummer, yes.
Cool. All right, well, we're going to start off with, we've got a bunch of questions, and Paul's going to start off. We're going to alternate. Paul will ask the first one, and we're probably going to extrapolate on each question, too, so we'll be here for a while.
Yeah, just sit with us and enjoy. This is really a nice treat for us. We've both known Tim for quite a while. We surprisingly we all play golf together every now and then. So we have fun, but you know, Tim is a true master when it comes to the guitar, and it's one thing to play guitar, it's another thing to be around somebody that really knows what the hell they're doing. And this guy really does, and he's got some stories, and we can't wait to hear them. I mean, we just can't wait for you guys to hear them. You're gonna really enjoy this. So just take your time with it, watch all the way through, okay? So the first question, and always for somebody like myself who is noodles around on a guitar as opposed to playing, when did you start? How long have you been playing? Did you have to take lessons? Did you teach yourself? You know, give us a little history on how it all got started.
Okay, first thing, I played an accordion about 7 years old, 8 years old.
It gets different.
As I played the accordion, I watched TV, and I saw the girls chasing the guitar players.
I've heard a similar story, not that, but yeah.
So I threw the accordion away, and I grabbed the guitar, but my first guitar only had 2 strings. And I went up and down that, play up and down that, and I just played up and down it. That was what I wanted to do.
So question, are those your 2 favorite strings now?
Who knows?
Maybe got used to him.
So then I would listen. Actually, I self-taught. I taught myself. I would put on a record. I listened to it, and I was so fascinated by it. So I went up and down. And finally, my uncle was in the Navy. He fought during the Second World War, and he left a guitar up in the attic at my grandma and grandpa's house. And I was fascinated. It was a Gibson. I played that, and then I took it home. And my grandpa, when I went back, he goes, "You stealing my boy's guitar. You bring that guitar back." So I brought a guitar back, but I had an old Stutter, probably that one with 2 strings, I don't know, but it was a junky guitar. And I stuck it in the case, and he goes, "It never bothered me." So I
goodness for
played on
cases.
that. Yeah, I played on the guitar, and then times my dad would get mad at me, and he making all that noise. Well, I got mad and I kicked it, and I broke the neck on it.
Oh,
I mean, it's just a temper, you know. Tempers are not good. So I ended up trying to fix it, and so on. But anyway, my uncle, because of my uncle, it helped me learn how to play guitar. Well, my uncle came out in 1980 to visit me. I said, "Uncle," I said, "Lawrence, did you remember that guitar you had?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "You know, I stole your guitar. Because of you, I learned how to play." I said, he goes, "Really?" He goes, "I wonder what happened." He goes, and I said, "Well, I brought an old guitar and put a junky one in there. Just shut up my grandpa here. You know, ta-da." He goes, "I wonder why I couldn't play that thing." He said, "Well, I had a nice guitar, my favorite guitar. I gave it to him.
oh, there you go.
He took the guitar, put it in the case, and when he went back to the airport, man, he just carried that guitar in the airport. So because of him. So
So that's how it all got started.
yeah.
Nice.
And then the Fenton Street Bar, my dad would go up and he would drink at the bar, and I went up on stage, and those guys were playing guitar, and they were half drunk and they were playing, and they played, and I grabbed the guitar, and what he played, I played. He played, I played, and I played, and then finally we played and made some money one time. My dad said, "Good, I'll buy you guys some guitars
There you
and
go.
drums." So that's basically how I got started back in the early days. And then we played on Geneva on the Lake.
So how old were you when you started?
Oh, well, I was 10, 12.
Oh, man.
And you figured the Beatles were 10 years older than me. So you figured I was 10 and they were 20. And that was when things started going on. And by the time we were 13, 14, 15, we were playing around the area, and there's a place called the Freakout we played. And I named the band, my brother Jim and I grabbed a bass player, Joe Molinary, and called it Spontaneous Combustion.
Good name.
Right, and then we played at the Freakout with Joe Walsh, and all these big time people played in Ohio, called the Freakout.
Nice.
And we played on stage, and it was Peanut Bopper night. And I looked at all the kids, and all I could see was heads. I mean, as far as you could see inside that club. So we decided to do The Who, like The Who. When we got done with the last song, I broke my string, and my brother knocked his drums over and all this and that. And my dad come up after the show, and he goes, "How'd it go, boys?" And he goes, I go, "Pretty good, Dad." He looked at the musical equipment, he said, "Blankety blank, I buy you guys some guitars and you break them all up." I said, "Dad, it's a show." So anyway, we got very popular back there.
Nice.
And the Fantastics were in town, and you remember the Raff, they call him a Raff.
Yep,
You remember that?
yeah.
Wow.
And no, that was
Yeah.
all popular back then. So then we went to school, and they had long hair, and they kicked us out of school. And my dad says, "Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to raise my boys." My dad got a lawyer. So we ended up getting signs, and we protest. I got in TV, we got on the radio, newspaper, and then the next following day, my dad says, "We're going to California." So my mom says, "No, we're not." My dad says, "Yes, we are." And we went to California. And then they formed a band out here called Cold Steel.
With an ache
My
in
brother
your
Jim,
heart.
Cold Steel's another good name.
Cold Steel. This is when I met Dick
taken
Dale.
now, right?
This is when I met Dick Dale.
Right in.
Okay, so we're segueing into Dick Dale, which was the second question. So go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
okay. And then we come out here called Cold Steel. And then we end up coming out here and we start playing clubs. So you can give me the next question.
Well, my next question was talk about Dick Dale and the
Okay.
Deltons.
And
but
how you
I
got
had some
this?
little
Yeah.
questions.
Okay, well, we were playing around the area,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were playing around the area, and we were playing at a club, and this is in the 60s.
Where was this at?
If this is in VB's over in called Edgemont, which is called Moreno Valley today,
Okay, yeah.
and
It used to be called Sunny Mead.
Sunnymead,
Sunnymead, yeah.
Sunnymead. It was Edgemont then at the time. Well, we played 5 nights a week, and we were playing, and all of a sudden this guy walked in. And he goes, "Hey, I managed the club, Dick Dale's club. Dick Dale was on tour." He goes, "My band I got there is crummy. I need you guys in there. We got to bring the business back." So we went and played, and we started doing our thing. And then Dick Dale was in Hawaii, and for some reason he got rid of his band or whatever. And he come over and he goes, he listened to us. He goes, "Hey," he got up on stage and he goes, "Hey, play this." So we played this and we played this, and he goes, "Play this." And when he had a hit, I was in Ohio. And he goes, "Let's play Miseru." And I go, "How's it go?" And he's got the record on the wall, the platinum record,
Yeah.
gold record. And I said, "How's it go?" He goes, "It goes like this." He goes, "What you do is you play E and then the F." And I go, "Okay." He goes, "Da da 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 da." And I go, "Okay." He loved us. All of a sudden, we're there every day. We were there 6 nights a week. We worked on our shows and hours, and we put on a show with Dick Dale. And you had
Nice.
to know your stuff. He'd embarrass you on stage, and if you didn't do it right, he'd embarrass you. And you had to
It's
do it
tough
right.
to work with.
So I end up playing on him, and then he says, "Well, we're going to Playgirl in Garden Grove." He goes, "We got to go play at the Playgirl." So we went and played at the Playgirl, and we did shows and stuff with him, and we had other bands open up for us.
Did you ever play, and the reason I ask you this is my sister during this time, she's 8 years younger than I am, used to go out to dances and stuff like that, and she talks about how she saw Dick Dale and all those groups in that era. But they used to go to this place near Long Beach called the Marina Ballroom, and that's where she saw Dick Dale. And I was wondering if you were there when she saw Dick
I
Dale.
was there just after that because I was playing at the Playgirl at the Garden Grove, and the guy flew up in the air and landed on the stage on my wall, and it went wah. And years went on by. He goes, "Hey, you remember that guy that flew up on your stage when you were playing with Dick Dale?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "That was me." But that was that. See, and then around that time, Dick Dale calls me up and he says, "I'm sending Jeannie over to pick you up in the Rolls Royce. She's going to pick you up because we're going to record at RCA Records." And I says, "Okay." So I lived in Hemet at that time, and I drive back and forth when we were playing. And Jeannie pulls in this Rolls Royce in front of my house. Three cops pulled her up, surrounded her. Police went up there and goes, "What are you doing?" I thought she was dealing drugs. See, you know, you don't come in. I lived in this small house, you know what I mean?
Right.
So she gets out and she says, "This is my guitar player. I've come to pick him up. We're going to do recording." So he picks me up. She picks me up, and we drive into LA and RCA Records, and they got that, the red thing that goes up like that. They let us in. So we drive in. He closes it down, and I'm just a teenager then. See, and I'm looking around, and we walk in, and in RCA, and we see the studios, and they have like different rooms like this. It's different layers. How like RCA Records. So we recorded, did an album with them. I never heard it, never paid attention. We did his tunes, a couple of his tunes. We did some cover tunes. We did songs like "You Are My Sunshine" and funked it out. He called me the funky guitar player. I never heard the album, but we did that. We recorded it. It was kind of cool. You turned me on to ginseng at that time. I thought it was a drug. It's just ginseng. It's because I didn't know he was battling cancer back then, but just ginseng. So I took to some ginseng and gave some pep energy, So we got done with the session, and then after that was all over, we started. And then Dick Dale got to where he was bribing each one of us. and got me upset and got other guys up. He was bribing us from different ways of paying and this, and so I decided, no, I don't want to bother with it anymore. I left Dick Dale, and then he went on tour with Tina Turner. And I thought, man, I would have liked to met. I would have liked
Just
to met
a little bit
Gene.
early on that.
I could Tina, but mainly Tina Turner. So he ended up touring with her, you know. So then I left, and matter of fact, he had some of my harmonicas. He never did, and my microphones. He never gave them back to me. But that's been, you know, when you're young, you don't know what's going on. It's just typical.
I kind of
But we
heard that
did,
about him.
yeah. But
about
we
him.
played not only that, played at the Playgirl a lot. And we'd go off, we'd go in LA, we'd do our shows and record it. So that's basically what happened with Dick Dale.
Nice.
And, I mean, he was a remarkable musician.
Yeah,
Because I want you to do the one after that.
that's great.
Anyway, that's basically what happened.
Well, I wanted to ask, any notable bands or other bands that you played in? I know you mentioned the ones that you had yourself, but any other bands that had somebody that maybe turned out famous or whatever?
Well, I did a lot of jam with a lot of different people that I seen them on TV later. I didn't know who they were. Guy that played at the Hard Rock Cafe in Las Vegas. Cal David, I've worked with him over at the Blue Guitar. And then, of course, I worked with Roger and Barry, which are Rod Stewart's. When I was with Wayne Cook, I was doing an album. We were doing, and I got my album there too. But we had Roger and Barry work with Rod Stewart. They were backup singers. I had to direct them in my songs we were doing and the songs I wrote. I had Ricky Skaggs, drummer. I worked with him, and I worked with Frank Zapp as a bass player in the studio, and of course Wayne Cook from the band Player. And I worked a lot with them. And then I've opened up for many other bands like Canned Heat.
As your own act, as a
As our act.
As a single act.
I worked with the Phoenix band where we did a lot of Stevie Ray and a lot of Southern rock and stuff like that, and I opened up with a lot of different bands. And I met a lot of different players. Some of them, like I said, I don't remember their names, you know.
You mentioned Carrie, was it Carrie Underwood?
Yeah, well, that question leads into my favorite
Okay.
one. If you did, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, if you, what band would you like to play in? What
Well,
would be your favorite, like right now?
if I was
Through
to
history,
play-
it doesn't need to be right
if
now.
I like to play with John Mayer, he's good.
Yeah.
And I like to play skillful, because I've worked with Phil Kagi. His manager was our manager. And I remember back in Ohio, and he was upstairs going, playing all around like this and that. And a lot of different players like that. And what's that question again?
I wonder what band. Who would
Okay.
you like to play with? But it would be like
Okay.
a band, somebody that your
I
type
got
of
off on a
music.
different track.
or-
Yeah, I would like to play with John Mayer, because like I said, I met players like Phil Kagi and all them. When you learn how to play, you learn how to play, and then you get good, and then you get it up real good, and then you get into the genius realm, and then you go to these steps, and you get to where, superb. See, that's what I worked at. And when John Mayer is one I like to play with, Eric Clapton. It would be, right now I'd like to work with him. I wanted to play with B.B. King. I really wanted to play with Stevie Ray, but he passed away, Stevie Ray. I opened up, we were supposed to open up for Jimmy Vaughn at a club, but the club owners didn't want me and us to play because I played too much like Stevie Ray.
Yeah.
They didn't want to make Jimmy Vaughn look bad. And I said he would be honored.
Yeah.
Jimmy Vaughn would have been honored for me to open up for Jimmy Vaughn. But I opened up for the Fix, and then L.A. Guns, and then Canned Heat, Rod Piazza and the Mighty Flyers, and all
You
that.
know L.A. Guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know LA Guns. You mentioned to me, I remember one time we were golfing, you mentioned that you played with a group of people they called the Jam Band.
Well, it's all American artists. All American artists. I met Spencer Davis. Yeah.
Royalty, man.
Yeah.
Well, Spencer Davis, when we played and we opened up for the World Classic Rockers, Spencer Davis says, "How come you guys are up here playing out here on the stage?" I says, "Because they didn't have enough microphones." He says, "That's bunk, man." So then Michael Monarch, you know who that is?
No.
Steppenwolf's guitar player.
Okay.
Okay, he was there, and I had him autograph that yellow guitar I play,
Mhm.
I had Michael Monica autograph it, you know.
Nice.
But I've rubbed shoulders with these guys, and I was playing at the Lake Alice time before that. My wife was talking to one of the customers, and he says, "Is that your old man up there?" And she says, "Yes." She says, "Kenny Wayne Shepherd plays here all the time." He says, "He's got nothing on your old man." And I go, "Whoa."
Wow.
And then Can Heat was up in Twin Peaks, and I was playing up there, and Stevie Ray just died. And I was up there playing, and I jammed, and I was playing Stevie Ray style with my songs. And Can Heat the Bear, before he died, was standing beside my wife, and he goes, "Oh, F, man." He goes, "This is scary. Sounds like Stevie Ray Vaughan." Well, I consider that an honor, you know.
That is an honor, yes.
But yeah, but anyway, that's basically.
Well, you did a Stevie Ray Vaughan
I did tribute, yeah.
act.
I got pictures of me in
Yeah.
Vegas. I did. It's so much I can't cover everything.
Yeah.
But I did Stevie Ray Vaughan tribute shows. And I had a friend that did Paul Simon, and we would go out together. He'd do Paul Simon, I'd back him. And I'd do Stevie Ray, and he'd back me.
Oh,
and
cool.
we would go.
That's interesting.
We even had a line of people
Totally
wanting
different
autographs for Paul
contrast.
Simon up and down like that, you know. But there's so much stuff that, I mean, I did so many things, and I met so many people, so many players, and I mean, like I said, Eric Clapton would be one I would like to play with right now, because I want to play one with them before they die.
Yeah.
Being popular people, I'd love to. But
And let's skip 4 and push it down lower.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll push it lower.
But I want you to ask that one.
Okay, that's fine. You asked basically about number 5 already, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of
Well,
turn that around, actually.
Do you want to?
No, we don't have. No, who was your inspiration? Stevie Ray Vaughan?
my inspiration? Okay.
I mean, you cover a lot of you
Yeah.
played a lot of different kinds of music with a lot of different people.
Yeah.
There's got to be certain guys that play that you look at and
There's
say,
3.
yeah, there you go.
There's 3. There's Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and Eric Clapton. Those 3 right there are basically the 3 that.
And they're all in your guitar playing. You
Yeah,
can hear
all guitar
we can
playing.
hear it all in your guitar.
Whenever I
playing.
heard a band, if they had good guitar work in there, that's what I like. You know, good
Well, we
guitar.
can hear it.
Yeah.
You're going to hear it soon. So
Yeah.
we can hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. What's your favorite kind of music? And is there a favorite album or something like that that you can pull from?
Okay, my favorite. What was the first question?
Genre of music. What is your favorite type of music?
Okay, favorite kind of music is, well, of course, rock and roll blues. Basically rock, and on more of a line of a blues, rockabilly blues, rock.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. Like a crossover between blues and rock, like Stevie, Clapton, and then of course, my favorite. The next one is the album, right?
Right.
My favorite album is Rubber Soul.
The Beatles.
Beatles.
By the
That's
Beatles.
my favorite album. Okay,
Why?
rock. My next, very good writers and everything. Second album is Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix' first album.
Are you experienced?
Yeah, remember Purple Haze and all that stuff
Yep.
on there? It was raw, it was right there. I used to take my amp out, set it out, turn it upside down, lay my guitar on it, just go woo, 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 woo. You know what I'm saying? Because he was very creative.
Yeah, he
Very
was.
creative. And as
Way
far
ahead of his time.
yeah, and then Eric Clapton, the favorite album out now, I think you asked that question. Now album is the Eric Clapton. I like what he does now. He there's a time when he was actually killed by Jimi Hendrix when Jimi Hendrix went to England. You probably heard the story.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix was doing all this and that, and Eric Clapton walked off stage. Well, Eric Clapton went to a Strat after that, and he had his Strat converted, and he loves that Strat. And Clapton is good. He's got his own thing. He sings with his guitar. He doesn't just make noise. He sings. Hendrix makes a lot of noise and sings too, and does everything. And then the Beatles are the best writers. I mean, the way they perform. I never did much Beatles song because of the high voices. I have a low voice.
Right.
Hendrix was no problem. Purple Haze, Eric Clapton, you know, that's just Sunshine of Your Love, and no problem. But the Beatles is so high, and then every now and then I have to do a concert, and I had to play Cruising Grand, and I couldn't get a hold of a drummer. All I could get a hold of was a drummer that was a Beatle drummer. So I did Don't Bring Me Down, did my own stuff, you know. Here I stand, head in hand, and did that Beatles thing. But those are the ones that I could do. But I did it my way.
Yeah.
See, like Joe Cocker, I wanted to do
Well,
it
that's
my
good,
way.
yeah.
So, but those are my favorite.
Cool.
Well, it's interesting that, you know, that's all ties into the next question. Would you rather be the singer, or would you like to have a singer in your band? Because I know it's a little
Well,
hard when you're the lead guitar
I like
player.
being the singer because I like Kenny Ray Shepherd's good, but he doesn't sing. He should. But I feel that Hendrix, not much of a singer, but he sang and did it, and it worked together. It was good. I like to sing and do the thing, but every now and then, when you get a singer up there, you can concentrate more on your playing.
Mhm.
Let the other singers sing.
It's difficult to
Well,
play and
the
sing.
reason I said that is I know that Eric Clapton, a lot of the time, he's like, la 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 la, blah, blah, blah. He separates. He doesn't
Well, when
sing,
you sing-
and play guitar at the
When
same
you
time.
play guitar and sing, you have to do this. You have to lean towards the singing, let the guitar go second and sing. Or you have to play the guitar, let the singing go second, and that's the guitar. You can't get them both to set together. You confuse it. It's too
And
hard.
the good thing about that, because
Yeah.
I've taken lessons from Tim to play guitar, and I play guitar, and I'm
Yeah.
self-taught.
Yeah.
And it's the weirdest thing. I can sing and play guitar like nobody's business. Not great, but it doesn't bother me, and it's very natural. And it makes me feel much better. But like you said, you can switch from one to the other. To me, sometimes if I'm having a hard time with the guitar and the chords, I'll concentrate on the lyrics, on my singing. And then the opposite the other way. When I'm singing, I'll make sure I play the right chords, and it just follows suit. You're tricking yourself, basically.
You
Well,
know what?
when I play, because I can't sing, I can't carry a tune in a bucket, as my mom told me. But when I play, if I'm singing the song either out loud or in my head, it helps me with the rhythm of the song,
Yeah.
to play the song.
Yeah.
But I would never think of singing in public. But my question on that note is, as a professional, the way you play, do you sing and then not and solo? Do you separate the two? Because I would think, because of how technical your playing is, it would be hard to solo the way you do while you're singing.
Yes, and that's what the separation I was talking. Usually the solo, and then they sing.
Yeah.
But the rhythm, you can play rhythm.
You
and
ever
sing.
watch Sting? Sting?
Yeah.
Yeah, you play the hard stuff and
See?
sing the hard
So
stuff.
just play.
Just one note, see?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then you watch Paul McCartney. He don't even look at his neck. He sings and does everything. I mean, he is amazing.
yeah.
He don't even look at, most of the time in his shows, he never even looks at his neck. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just what works for you. Is what. But when, like I said, knowing how, I have a song called "Good Times." Good times. Talking about good. Instead of playing it at the same time, I go good time. Talking
So you
about
break
good.
it up.
Yeah,
See?
yeah, it frames each other.
You put the singing behind the guitar part, you can get it.
Yeah.
See, or you do the other way around. You put the guitar plate, and then you just say, yeah, baby.
Well, like,
Because
See what I'm saying?
I watch Stevie videos of Stevie playing, and a lot of his soloing was done separate from his singing.
Yeah.
Well, and Joe Bonamassa too, if you really think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of him, and he
Just
just
like,
tears
I
that
do,
guitar apart, but he
the
can't
Wall of
sing
Denial.
during that time.
I do Wall of Denial. If you watch Stevie Ray, the Wall of Denial, putting that with the singing is hard. But if you watch how I do it, I put the singing right after that. Or Stevie would do it before that. Or sometimes he'd do it right on it. Sometimes he would get it right on it. But you have to know how to make
Yeah.
that work.
He was a
Just-
talent, man.
It's just what works for you. You know? Yeah.
You want to move on?
Sure.
We're 27 minutes in already.
That's okay. Yeah,
I love
we
this.
can stay there now. Yeah.
good long
You
interview.
want to ask? I want me to.
I have a
Where
lot
we
to,
at?
lot to say, but
Well,
I can't say
we're
it
going to
all.
be going back, right?
We're
Let me-
number 8 right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a, you know,
This
I'm
hits where you're at. You go
well, I'm a
ahead.
songwriter also, and I write a lot of poetry and I write a lot of bullshit. But do you write your songs by music first, or writing lyrics and then put music to it, or
Okay.
vice versa?
I write a
Or
lot
you-
of songs. I got over
Mm-hmm.
hundreds of songs.
Yeah,
And usually I get an idea,
on the beat.
right? And I mumble.
Yeah,
I mumble the idea, like in the song feels like I'm happy. Oh, the town is happy. And I'll lay down the rhythm track and I'll mumble it. I'll mumble what I want to say, right? And then I'll lay it down. I would do the music, then I'd add the bass and the drums, save the lead for last. And then I sit down and listen to my mumble, what I want to say. And I just, and I'd write out the story. And then I sing it all the way through, and then I put the lead on so I don't walk on my song.
That's cool.
Sometimes
Different.
I've had songs that people give me that I already have the words. I've had songs where I had a dream one time that they were looking for me. I was the alien, and they were looking for me. And I wrote all down after I woke up, and they were looking for me, and I ended up coming out the door, and they were coming towards me, and I said, "Have you seen the alien?" They go, "No." I go, "I haven't seen him either." They left me alone. But I wrote it down, see, and I took the words, and sometimes I'll take the words, and then I would fit the song.
Well, I think that because
It depends.
yeah,
see.
but I think that because my stuff tends to be a little more poetic, leaning to poetic. That's why I do the lyrics first. But I have to say, one time I was out surfing, and because of you, I tried that
Yeah.
that method. I already know you did that. I just wanted to ask for our fans. But I remember I was out surfing and I got this beat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn it, I'm serious. I took a wave and came in, went in the car,
Cool.
and got a pencil, dried off, and
Yeah.
tried to write this down. And it turned out to be Eric Clapton. the A-E. And I'm like, son of a bitch.
It's like the song that I have.
So it's like, it never really works for me. I'm a poet. I'm a writer and a poet.
Most
not a
songs are
musician.
poets. Just like you got to rhyme sometime.
Yeah.
You know, you
I
go-
mean, I'm great at rhyming.
I had a song I wrote about gurging. I'm just gurging on it. I'm just surging on it. I'm just gurging on it. And my wife says, "That's not a word." I said, "But it fits."
But it fits.
Now.
It fits.
No, it is now.
Well, like Wayne Cook, I worked with him, and I did a song called "Hard Time Living Without You, My Babe." And I sang it like that, and I said, you know, and I said a word in there, and he put a word "snag" in there. Oh, cool! He knew how to put "snag" to drag. I always put that thing is just a drag, and it's just a drag. He said, "No, it is a drag, but it's a snag." See,
That
You
song,
learn
I
a
call
poet.
that
You
Louis
actually are a
Armstrong.
poet, yeah.
That was your Louis Armstrong impersonation. I have all your stuff.
Yeah,
I just recently found it too.
Cool.
But
All right, so we're going to go back up the list. Now, I want to know why and what your favorite guitar is. What type of guitar and why. And while you're sitting here, you gave us a little demonstration before of why.
yeah.
You could do it, we can still see that here. And if you could explain why and show us what you showed us here, I think they'd be really interested.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'll tell you why.
And your amp setup and all that.
Yeah. You want me to set it up now? No problem.
No, I want I want to know what your amp setup is when you
Okay.
play,
Okay.
not your practice stuff. What you perform with.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, the reason why my type of guitar I like is I've gotten accustomed to the Stratocaster. See, I cut off one of my fingers in construction once, 1975, and I had a guitar built, and I had a Telly Strat built, where I had Strat pickup, Strat neck, and a Telly body and the whammy bar. And since 1975, I've used that guitar and didn't realize that I'd been using a Stratocaster all those years. Before that, I had a Lyle. I had a when I was with Dick Dale, I had a Supro and a Lyle. And Dick Dale used to say, "Get rid of that Lyle. It goes out of tune all the time. Play the Supro." Supro was one of the first guitars Jimi Hendrix played. Supro, see, and it was nice. It had simulated. It was an off-brand. It wasn't American. I don't know where Supro made anything, but I did Hendrix with that back pickup, fuzz face, just like Jimi Hendrix. The wah-wah, got all that Jimi Hendrix sound. But then I come to custom that in 1975 and using my Telestrat. I used it at church. I used it all recording. Whatever I was playing live. It began to be a part of me. So I just bought myself a 335, and I was going to play it, and I played it, and I had to play it on the stage, and it's like I'm like this. I'm like this. I'm reaching the knobs like that, and I set it down, grabbed my Strat, and it was just like there.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I like a Strat.
You do have relatively short arms and fingers
Yeah.
for a guitar player.
Well, I don't
mean
have
that as
Jimi
any-
Hendrix had long fingers.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I don't mean
you
any-
don't have long fingers.
I remember watching Richie Havens.
And they're not
at
real
Woodstock.
skinny fingers. I mean, you
Jimi
know,
Hendrix would take his thumb. He used to play like an A or a B, and he'd walk
Oh,
his
yeah.
thumb up from the F. And go,
It's ridiculous.
He's playing like this. Walk. He could take his thumb down there and probably put the pinky up there.
Yeah. You
Oh,
watch,
yeah,
I was
full fret.
watching Woodstock, and Richie Havens, he could scratch his arm up here while he's playing it. This dude had fingers
George-
like that.
yeah.
It was
George
scary.
Stewart did. John
Yeah.
Mayer.
Yeah.
John Mayer is what, 7 foot tall almost, or whatever.
Yeah, big fingers.
His
Yeah.
Strat looks like a baby on him. You know.
it does
Well,
help
I
to
was-
have long, thin fingers.
Well, it was funny. I
And big
was
hands.
showing somebody, I was talking to somebody about Joe Bonamassa, and he goes, "Yeah, I can't play. My fingers are too fat." And I pulled up the song of him at Santa Monica Civic, where who's the big black guy? Sting it. He's got a funny, huge guy, giant fingers.
Kingfish.
Yeah, Kingfish. He played backup, and he did a solo. Man, he just ripped that thing apart, and I was like, "Dang!" I go, "Well, there's your fat finger problem."
Right there, yeah. I mean, he's a big guy.
Oh, he is. He's huge, but yeah, he just
he's a big
danced
guy,
all
so-
over that thing.
So,
That's why I like a Strat, because I have
The
the
comfort.
action high.
A lot of comfort.
I have a 58 on top because of Dick Dale.
Mm-hmm.
Dick Dale had that. I mean, he would play that. You know what I mean? You need that guts. I have a 58 on top. And I
he's
got
talking
11.
gauge strings now,
I
right?
have heavy strings, right? But I have a medium. I have 11 on the bottom and I have a 58 on top.
Damn.
So I can do the bends and I can still. I
Stevie
can
Ray
hit
played
that.
really big.
You remember Helter Skelter?
Yes.
When I hit the guitar and I go da 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 da, and then it go down, it's hitting the string and it vibrate and go too high. Strat, you don't get that. You can hit it as hard as you want. It stays right there. That's what I like about a Strat.
And Stevie played heavy gauge
Yeah.
strings, right?
Well, yeah. Matter of fact, he did until he went a little lighter toward the end. He used to lose the top of his callus on his fingers. When I first started, this is back to the first question, I had blisters on my hands. I mean, they're pus bags.
Yeah.
And I still kept playing.
You glued them right back
I
on,
wanted
right?
to play so bad. My fingers, I'm serious, I had pus bags because, you get a bruise, like you get a burn.
Yeah.
And then now, I used to smoke when I was smoking them over. I used to put a cigarette out on it.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
wouldn't even feel it
Burn.
because I got so many I got calluses, see?
Yeah.
And I still keep a callus in there. And I mean, they're there.
You know, just Ted Nugent say, "Play until your fingers bleed, and then play some more." But I like somebody said the other day. He goes, I think that
Yeah.
Pete Townsend's
Yeah.
just pissed off at his guitar.
Oh yeah.
They always say that.
He's fun to watch,
I think
though.
he's mad at his
I
guitar.
saw the Who about. Gosh, it's probably been almost 10 years
It's just,
now.
it makes me cringe to rip off a fingernail on a string. I can't stand that thought.
Okay, so what is your pedal board setup? And,
Okay.
And
My
why?
pedal board, okay. First of all, I don't like a whole lot of pedals. I used to use a fuzz face and a wall. That's it. For years. I just played my last gig. What I have is a tube screamer and a wall. That's it.
That's it.
But when I went and finally got a pedal board, and I have an octave I use maybe once in a while. I don't really like it. Tube screamer. I bought one of those digital delays, carbon copies, because I used to use the old Echoplex Jimi Hendrix used, where you can go shoo, wow, wow, wow. I gave it to my brother. He left it somewhere. I don't know what happened to it. But I bought one in car, but hardly ever used it. I have a Mesa Boogie. He was asking about my amp, right?
Yep.
I have a Mark, the very first ones that Carlos Santana named it. My Mesa Boogie. In the back of my amp, it's got those stick-ons, the homemade stick-ons in the back with serial number. It's got the serial number, and it's got the stick-on which is in and out. It has 4 6L6s and an external speaker, and it has a switch on it where it's 60 watt or 100 watt, and it's dynamite.
Tube amp.
Tube amp.
Yeah.
I use the same tubes that Eric Clapton uses, the Sovtech tubes in the back.
And why tube as opposed to?
Well,
as
it's
opposed to analog?
warmer sounding, more gutsy, but I'll tell you what I just did recently. I'm getting older now. I bought one of the new Tone Master twins.
Okay.
Okay, it's digital.
All digital, yeah.
Okay, it's 33 pounds.
A lot lighter.
My boogie is, I dropped my boogie one time. I was carrying it up to my apartment, and I dropped it, and I fell with it, and it hit my jaw. And in my mind, I'm saying, I go, my boogie. My mind says, what about your jaw? Forget my jaw, what about my boogie?
Yeah.
And it dented the wheel on the bottom and everything, and it didn't hurt the amp. I opened the amp up one time, and inside of it, it has gobs of solder like an old TV. So it's that old. And it has one JBL, big gigantic transformer. I had guys with big Marshalls that wouldn't turn down. So I put mine on the boogie at number 2 and blew them away. And they're go, what's wrong with my amp? They kept turning the amp all the way. And I put that thing on my boogie, would rattle your chest like that, so powerful. I love it, but it's so heavy. But I bought this new twin, and I played it at a gig when I first bought it, put my boogie here, put the twin here, turned the twin on 85 watts, because it's got a switch in the back where you can go 5 watt, 30 watt. I put it on 85 max. I took my boogie and put my boogie on number 2. I had to put the twin on number 5 to keep up with it.
Wow.
See?
And Fender amps are loud.
And it is a dynamite amp. It's so powerful. One time I lived in an apartment, and my dad was a manager, and the guy wouldn't turn the stereo down. My dad said, get that amp out there, you turn it up. I put my amp out there, blew that up there, and the guy stuck his head over the fence, and he went, and he turned his music down. But it's a dynamite amp. But, I love it. I play it when I do my band. I like to bring it. But when I'm playing with the other guys, I take the twin. It's easier. And I just use what do you call it, tube screamer?
Yep.
And a wah one. That's it.
Cool.
It works.
They say if you're good, you don't need a lot of stuff.
I like a clean sound. I don't like getting. I've had guys that had beautiful amps that sound so good, and they put the pedal on, and they went from that to a tin can. They were playing all over it, and they turned it off, and it's back to beautiful sound again.
Yeah.
I wish they just leave that pedal out there.
Do you want us to show us the difference between a Fender and a Gibson, like you showed us before? The sound
Yeah.
difference? You want to show us really quick?
Yeah.
We want
What?
to do the last question?
Okay.
Because I think all of this is just all about him.
Okay, let's do. He can do all the playing while
Yeah,
we're doing
because
the
then
playing.
we can interact too.
Yeah, okay.
The last question was, you have words of wisdom for up and coming players, and I think your whole style and you as a person, you have a lot to offer somebody like that, because you've been to the
First of all,
prefaces of the problem and all of that.
Stay off of drugs. Because
Yes.
lots of guys are really good on cocaine, and they could just fly all over. A couple of years are gone. Just be natural, be yourself,
Amen.
and play from the heart. Whatever you do, and play with all your might. And first of all, if you want to learn how to play, you do like I did. I had just 2 strings. Learn how to do that. That's why bass players only got 4 strings. It's easier for them, But anyway, we got 6. But anyway,
Throw a little shade on the bass players there.
There's a lot of good bass players that they do stuff that I couldn't out even do. And play from the heart. But if you want to learn, listen to the Beatles' White Album. The Beatles' White Album. You'll learn a lot. The writing, the chord structures, everything, a lot. And then type of guitar that you use. I had guitars that, little Jimmy Ray, when I first started years ago back in Ohio, his dad bought him SG, and it was beautiful. And I had this Kingston, piece of junk. That's all we could afford. I said, Jimmy Ray, here, play mine. I'm playing it. I'm playing it. He goes, can I have my guitar back? I said, yeah, just hold on. Then his dad bought him a big Trini Lopez, $3,000 guitar back then in the 60s. Oof. You're talking about 62, 63. Yeah. That when his dad bought that,
Expensive.
you know. But, you know, find something that's nice you can play. And
The comfort, like you mentioned,
yeah,
that meant a lot to you.
Yeah, find artists that you like and stick to what your style, what you like. You can't play like everybody. You don't want to be that person, but that helps you develop your style. Stevie Ray got his style, a lot of his stuff from his brother and Jimi Hendrix, but then he got his style. You know, one guy went up to Eric Clapton, that he knew Eric Clapton, and the guy tried so hard to play just like Eric Clapton, and he played just like Eric Clapton, and Eric Clapton said, no, I don't want you to copy. I want you to develop your own style.
You would want them to do better. I would.
Right. And then, and if you want to really start getting good, be a guitar teacher. I taught a lot of people. When you're teaching somebody, you have to dig.
Yeah, that's good in anything. I've been a trainer, but you can't train unless you know
Teach
it.
somebody else.
Yeah.
Teach somebody else how to do, and you'll find out that you'll know more. You know more than what you think you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I would say. You know, listen to the good old school stuff, because a lot of kids nowadays go online using AI or whatever, and they put the pedal on. I went to this music store one time, and this kid would just blow me away. Man, he was so good. Well, then he turned the pedal off, and the guitar was all out of tune. It was horrible. So pedals are crutches.
Yeah,
That's why I don't like using a lot of pedals. A pedal is a crutch. And
There's the long and short of it is there's no shortcut.
yeah.
You got to put in the hours. You got to pay your dues.
Yeah, I put hours and hours and hours. I've had tons of downloads of music that I thought that I liked. When I'm driving down the road, you're listening to radio, and you're like, man, I can play that. You write it down, and when you get home, pull it up.
Well, I remember when I first got started in it, my second go-round was when you gave me that acoustic guitar. And all I would do for hours, because I was not married, I didn't have anybody else in my life, my daughter was away at college, and I'd just sit on the couch and lay back with that guitar in my lap and just noodle.
Well,
and I got good doing that.
I knew a guy, my guitar player I worked with that did Paul Simon in Vegas. I still talk to him every day. He calls me all the time because he has no family or anybody but just me. He's his friend. He met Jimi Hendrix. He sat down at a table. He was 15 back in New York, and he hung around Eric Clapton. He listened to Eric Clapton play through a twin and almost blew his ears out. But anyway, he met Jimi Hendrix, and he said, I sat beside him. He said, Jimmy, that fuzz that you're using, he goes, yeah. Jimmy said, yeah, the one that the knob keeps falling inside. And he said, well, put a little washer on it. He goes, no, I just turned it upside down. And then he asked me a question, and Jimi Hendrix says, excuse me, I'm going to scheme on these ladies. And Jimi Hendrix left. And then right in front of him was a lady sitting there, and the guy up on stage said, ladies and gentlemen, we got Janis Joplin here. He looked, and it was Janis Joplin. And she went up and sang, and he goes, all she did was scream. I know, but it got her famous.
That's her voice, yeah.
See, but I'm saying, you don't know, people,
Are you happy with your voice when you're singing? And did it take a while?
Well, I'll tell you what, my brother teased me all the time and said, you sound like a frog.
Gee, thanks.
And I had to battle that. I had to battle
really,
that
thanks.
out. I mean, I end up trying to work with my voice, and I can't go those highs. And I end up going, I'll start learning to that, and then I went, maybe I should have told you, and then I went, hello, I'm Johnny Cash. So I learned to adapt with my voice. I had a few songs where I sing like the English, I don't mate, or like Australian.
Yeah.
I tried to work with my mouth, and if you do a little bit of the do re mi fa sol la ti do, do re mi fa sol la ti do, do re mi fa sol la ti do. If you go up the scale and do that before you sing, it's much easier to sing.
Is it?
Your voice is you got
Yeah, the reason I
I
asked
just
that
go
is
like
training
that.
it.
Is I've always thought,
da 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 da. I keep going all the way up, and then when I go to sing, because sometimes by the end of this playing 4 hours, I go, my baby. You know what I mean? I'm straining.
I've
But if
done
you
that.
relax your voice.
Been there, done that.
So I'm happy with what I got. I mean,
Yeah,
just
in
one
the
thing.
beginning for me, it was like
It's-
I had I remember Maurice. I turned to Maurice. I go, Maurice, do you ever get the feeling that you don't hear your voice the same way everybody else does?
Oh,
And he says,
yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
You
I'm
kidding
the
me?
same way.
Yeah, but you're just 10 times.
Well, I was in a mall
100
one time,
times more
yeah.
critical.
I was at a mall one time. This guy must have been a May company. He must have been 7 foot tall. His head was way up there. And I walked up to him and I go, how you doing? He goes, pretty good. How are you? Yeah, my voice, and I'm half the size, you
Yeah,
know.
you got the deep
But yeah,
voice. He's got the,
when I was in the Army, I got drafted in '72, and I had to go in for the draft, and went down to boot camp, and I walked over to the where we all were sitting down and getting ready to do it. The sergeant goes, all right, at ease, drop him. Sit there, he walked over, he looked at me, he goes, what's your name there, soldier? I go, Rudy, sir. He goes, man. Where'd you get that voice at? He said, I'm just a little guy, 109 pounds, you know.
yeah.
So I'm happy with what I got, you know. I mean, I would like to be. You have one question on who's your favorite singer? Michael Bolton.
Michael Bolton.
Yeah, the guy can sing.
I mean, as far as a voice, he's my favorite singer.
He can sing.
Well, I wanted to touch on, you said the most important thing you said right in the beginning of the words of wisdom is drugs. And I have a question. You've been through that. Do you notice the difference? You said there's a lot of good music that was played on drugs and not. And to me, it
Well,
disappoints me that
I was
it's
staying
hard to.
back when we first come to California. I stayed at people's house, and I stayed one night at their house, and they all went to work, and they had our drums over there, and they had our equipment. We did a gig, whatever, and I took some bennies. Boy, I tell you, man, I was all over that night. Man, I say, I'm going.
Did you remember
And
anything?
man, I take for hours now. I go, man, this is so smooth, just like candy. I got on the drums and man, I was playing all over. All right, and then finally the next day I went to sleep and got up and I wanted to play the guitar and I went like this. I couldn't move my fingers. I literally could not move my fingers. I said, forget this noise.
Yeah, it does affect your
Forget this
nerves.
noise.
Because
And then when I went through divorce, I don't drink, but I got a 6-pack, all right? And I was living in my own apartment. And I got drunk and I thought I'd play guitar and write a song, right? And I recorded it. You know what it sounded like?
it sounded like you were drunk.
I go, that is
Well,
horrible.
that's the thing. That's the disappointment
But at
to
the
me.
time, see, so I like being straight, just
Yeah,
being
yeah.
me.
Well, that's why I'm saying that's so disappointing because some of them are absolutely just fantastic, but they're zoned.
Yeah.
I mean, can
Well-
you come down and do that?
I saw an analogy of that one time, and I thought maybe that makes more sense.
Yeah.
That a lot of these people that are, talented individuals, why so many of them are on drugs and drink and stuff like that, is they reach a level where they've got everything.
Yeah.
They're great musicians. They've got all the wealth in the world. They're celebrities. Everybody knows who they are, and they're looking for something to get them to that next high.
Yeah.
And that's why they turn to drugs.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because that's how we lose some of these people.
I'll tell you my theory. Here's one theory. I went and saw Bonnie Raitt in concert. Fabulous. She's good. I remember Bonnie Raitt back when she first started. She pushed to show her. Did blues. She made it. And it's like she holds the guitar and sings. Plays a little bit and sings. Then she has songs where I can't make you love me if you don't. She wasn't even playing her guitar. But her slide guitar is what got her famous. Don't lose that first love. Don't lose that push to get better, because once you feel that you're there, you start to sink. You know? You got to keep, every time I play, there's times when I play, I think it stinks. I literally would like to crawl in a hole. You probably don't notice it, but I got more compliments when I I thought I played terrible.
I hate that.
And
I
I
know
did.
you're like,
I had times when I did everything just right. Nobody said a word.
Your worst day is a whole hell of a lot better than my ever be your
Yeah.
best day.
So I mean, just a lot of wisdom in that. you know,
Okay.
So.
One last thought, and then we'll go to playing, unless you have something else.
no, I'm good.
Okay. Any regrets?
No. Any regrets? Well, everybody has regrets. Sometimes my dad says, "Son, you marry that woman, she's gonna rule your life, the rest of your life." "No, Dad, I love her, but I want to marry her." I go, "Well, sometimes you don't take advice. Well, if I would have waited getting married, I'm thankful for my kids, but my dad was right. it has an effect on you the rest of your life, so making decisions. But I've had people tell me, "Hey, come on, man, you can live in my garage and I'll sponsor you." I said, "No, I'm not going to live in a garage. I'm not going to live underneath the overpass. I work a day job. I will do a day job, take care of myself. If I don't make it, fine." A lot of people live underneath the overpasses. You heard stories. They had nothing. They lived in a sleeping bag, went into the studio, finally got a hit, and now they got a big, beautiful home. I said, "I won't do that. I'll work. If I never make it, that's fine." Because I love playing, and I can play now and not get mobbed because somebody wants to take advantage of me. That's to say, I don't really have any real
You'll never,
regrets.
where are you ever gonna hear that?
See what I'm saying?
That's
I've had offers.
fantastic.
I've had
Yeah.
many offers
No,
like that.
I
And I
understand
said,
that.
"No."
Well, you and I got something in common there.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
anytime I got close to fame, I'd sabotage the crap out
That's
of myself.
a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. You know. And with that,
Yeah.
we're going to end the interview portion with Tim, and we're going to set up, and he's going to mesmerize you now.
Demo.
Okay. So bear with us, hang with us. Anything else?
No.
All right,
I'm just
guys.
gonna push the button.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Tim. Yeah. Okay, we're back,
We're back, guys.
and this is the show.
Okay, here you
Here
go.
you go.
Enjoy yourselves. You're going to love
Yeah,
this.
we're out of here.
All right, Timmy, have at it, man. doggies, man. Can you hear Dennis? Well,
All right,
I
guys.
truly
How's
hope you
that?
enjoyed that.
Oh, that was fun.
Mr. Tim.
Right.
That's Mr.
Rudy
By
T.
Rudy
Tim
T.
Rudy,
Goes by
Tim
Rudy
Rudy
T.
and the Rudy T Band.
That's
Rudy
right.
T
Right
Band.
on, guys. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tim.
You bet.
You guys take care. We'll catch you
My
next time.
pleasure.
Bye bye.